I spent a while streaming on a Hawaiian vacation. Unworn white Levi's were covering his femur until he covered them with coffee and creamer. Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, he's your average teacher on IRL streamer. Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, he's your average teacher on IRL streamer. Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, he's your average teacher on IRL streamer. Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, he's your average teacher on IRL streamer. Mr. G, 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 I spent a while streaming on a Hawaiian vacation. Unworn white Levi's were covering his femur until he covered them with coffee and creamer. Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G.
Peach, you gotta move for a sec. Peach. Peach, you gotta move for a sec. Peach, I'm sorry, I'm moving on you. Peach, class is starting. Keanu, class is about to begin. We can't eat foods right now. You eat the foods when I'm done. Got an important class today. See, that's Susie here. She's already here. Hey everybody, I'm Mr.G. Welcome. I hope everybody's in a good mood today. I know I am, somewhat. Hey Big Vegas. Aloha, welcome to the class. That's right, Easy Funshine. I did take away Susie's mod. She wanted me to take away the mod anyway for a while now, and she knows it's been a while coming. You know, we're cleaning things up around here. It's not like it was, in 2018. Well, like I said, I'm explaining right now. Well, we're being a little bit more sensitive. This is the third season of the Mr.G show. You know, this is the classroom, and we're being more professional, more appropriate, and you know, you are a bit edgy at times, Susie. There's no easy way to say that. You're very edgy.
Susie has a crotch. I am in a shitty rig, Mr.G. Susie has a crotch. I am in a shitty rig, Mr.G.
Okay, Susie, no hard feelings, okay? Alright, so, thanks, Super Roofer. We're getting to the role right now. She's not banned.
Susie has a crotch. Explain it.
I explained it.
Susie has a crotch. Thank you.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna turn off the auto everything for a sec. All right, so let's.
We can't have the people that build this town around anymore.
Okay, let's go ahead and take roll here. I'm gonna try to get through it quickly because you know we have a lot of names on the list. And if you notice, we have a nice new map today. I have a lot of political stuff is going on. Today is sociology. Wednesday is psychology, sociology, or geography. We have a nice brand new map in the classroom that I purchased myself for the class, and it was the nicest map you can get delivered to Hawaii.
Mrs.G, the mermaid, wow, that's crazy. It's super underscore roofer.
And the largest map. What's going on in the Louisville? Riots again, I imagine. Okay, Susie, it's your call. So we have this nice new map here. I'm working right on. You're always welcome here, Susie. Thank you. Come on, Kiana, you're welcome. Come to the class, Kiana. Let me shut the door. Come and join us, Kiana. Not the swap shit, too. I'm taking the wall. You want to help with the wall?
Oh, say how you doing, Karl? My class, I'm Mr. G's best friend, Karl. I've been through a lot with him, and I love him, and he loves me. We get together pretty good. He do anything for me, I do anything for him.
Mrs. J, the mermaid, classroom, Mr. G. Good job.
Thank you, Mrs. J.
Bye, Susie.
Susie, don't say that you're never going to come back. I hope to see you. Well, I have class Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock Hawaii time. You're always welcome here. If I did or said anything to offend you, I apologize.
Lisa Sunshine, Vincent Girl School, hello class, stay on. Hey London, Susie is sassy.
Okay, so let's get to the roll.
Mrs. J, the mermaid, Keanu, so chunky.
Ash Mods,
John Theo, Plum.
Sean Ryder, Nessa, Nessa.
Tatted up man, I have a sick day, but I am here today.
Hey, tatted up man, how's it going? Oh, let me go ahead and make sure that the speaker is on. I have a checklist now, which makes it so I don't forget things like some of these. Because there's a lot to remember when you're running a classroom, guys. Let me tell you. And let's get a little learning music on here. Everybody likes Mozart.
Okay, I was getting drunk, but I showed up today just to ask you if I had a flask with me.
Cool. Yep. Shout it up, man. You're always welcome here. Okay, Master Dan. Master Dan. No. Big block. Big block. Nope. Thanks, Mrs. J. All right, Uncle Meat. Is Uncle Meat here today?
Wireless entertainment. Present, but multitasking behind my winder.
No Uncle Meat.
Mother, good morning, Mr. G in chat.
Hey, Muzza, aloha. Lita, are you here today? No Lita?
Mrs. J, the mermaid, pick Harry Potter.
No Lita today? Is Lita here? Anybody see her around campus? No? Alright, no Lita. Alright, Thorax God. He asked me to put him on the roll. He wanted to be added to the class, and he never shows up. Thorax God. Nope.
Potter, 0% Horace, J, the mermaid.
Cody.
Lita, here.
Lita, welcome. Aloha, Lita. Pleasant to hear your sound of your voice.
Mrs. J, the mermaid, hi, Lita.
Let me go ahead
Potter,
and
aloha.
make sure.
54, made it.
Hey, Jimmy. Welcome. Go ahead and have a seat. We have a wonderful class today, guys.
Lita, here.
Alright, so. It's okay, guys. 1 second.
Thank you so much for your patronage.
Lita, hi, Mrs. J.
My heart rate is currently 150.
Okay, back to the roll. Cody? No? Not here yet? Bella? Bella Smiles? You here?
Chocolate makes good music.
No Bella? Shoshan? Or Zach Morris?
Sweet classroom.
No Shoshan? No? New Jersey SKF? New Jersey SKF, are you here? Jersey. I'm missing a lot of class lately. Okay, Pebs. Pebsta. You hear Pebs? No? Mindy Jewel. Mindy's never been to class. I'm fixing to take her off the list. Off the official roll. Jimmy. Jimmy's not here, but Jimmy 54. You are here, aren't you? Jimmy 54 with his 4th classroom attendance. Susie Rottencrotch was here, but she left. She still does receive credit. Muzza's here. That's 4 classes for Muzza. Tatted Up Man is present. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan. Are you here? No, Detroit. Lieutenant Monkey. Lieutenant Monkey. Nope. Okay, Maze Jordan. Maze Jordan, are you here? I thought I heard Maze Jordan come in. Big Jim Wifey. Big Jim's wifey. Nope. Wyatt? 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 Oh, don't do that. Jordan Mays is here and Muzza is here, both here. Thank you guys. Aloha, mates. Wyatt is not here. Break the cycle. Break the cycle. Big Vegas. Big Vegas is here. I thought I heard him come in, right? Big Vegas? Big Vegas. Hey, Detroit. Aloha. Detroit is here. Detroit, Michigan, where you at? Let me go and make sure that you get credit. Okay, you are. That's three straight credits for you. Big Vegas is here. XFS. 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 No. Cletus. Cletus Van Damme. No. Crazy Mofo Killer. Crazy Mofo Killer. Do we have any crazy mofo killers in the house? There's got to be at least one. Okay. Tech 1. I thought I heard Tech come in. Is that right? Tech 1 is here? Okay. Put her here. Kramer. Kramer. Cosmo Kramer. Nope. Dabzilla. Dabzilla. Nope. Dave London. Dave is here, isn't he? Dave London. Dave London. Tech 1 is here. Welcome, Tech 1. Little back. Crazy Mofo Killer. Welcome. Wyatt is here and Crazy is here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. J. Little Bats. Did they let you out of juvie today, Little Bat? No? Peaceful Pyro. Dave London is here. Almost perfect attendance for Mr. London. It's a good example for all the rest of you. Dope Boy Magic. Dope Boy Magic. No? Mr. Nicotino. Mr. Nicotino. Mr. Nicotino. No? Stinky Pinky. Stinky Pinky. No Stinky Pinky. Cat Avalanche. Cat Avalanche. No? Samantha Sweetheart.
What entertainment? Video call.
Samantha Sweetheart. No? Super Woofer. So good I say his name twice. Flowers in a hair.
Mr. Nicotino. Here, Mr. G. Here.
Mr. Nicotino is here. Thank you, Mr. Nicotino. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Mr. Nicotino. Okay, flowers in a hair. You are here too. Brogan Lovett. He must not love it. Brogan Lovett must not love it because he hasn't been to class in ages. Easy Funshine. You're here, right? Easy Funshine. Chris Jackson.
Sorry, I don't like Mr. G.
It's okay. Better than late than never, right? That's my expression. Okay, Clout Gangster. Thomas is here. Welcome, Thomas. Clout Gangster. Clout Gangster. No? Aunanu Unana. Hawaiian word. Aunana Nana. Hawaiian word. Nick. Oh, I won't say that. Kirtland Kramer. No. John Doe. Nico is here. Jenny Lee.
What entertainment?
Jenny Lee. No Jenny Lee? Okay. Crazy Mo Focus. Crazy stuff. Rhonda G with the dancing moves. Rhonda G. No Rhonda G. Tierra Rondon Videos. Tierra Rondon Videos. Tierra Rondon Videos. Say it with me, class. Tierra Rondon Videos. Tierra Rondon Videos. Tierra. No Tierra Rondon Videos. Adam Smith, the lawyer.
Yes, Sizzle. Sorry, Mr. G. Here, it won't be tardy.
Oh, it's okay, Jay Sizzle.
Yes, Sizzle. I have internet problems.
Adam Smith. No Adam Smith. RDW3.
Tech 1, yo.
RDW3. Nope. 7. Nope. Georgina. Georgina, are you here today, Georgina? No, Georgina. Helica. 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 No Helica. Renee Rousseau. Renee Rousseau. Big Block is here. Make sure we mark you for credit here, Big Block. Renee Rousseau. Renee Rousseau. No Renee Rousseau.
Mr. G. How's it?
Aloha. Thank you, Anna Muna Muna. I apologize for pronunciation, but I will mark you as present. Okay, same girl. Same girl. No? Glass C?
Pistol Pete. Here.
Glass C?
Always fun.
No Glass C. Pensacola is here.
What entertainment? Here we have a class 9 crossover.
Willie. Is Willie here? Willie Tao. Good old Willie Tao. Is Willie Tao in the classroom? No Willie. All right. Charles Bukowski. Charles Bukowski. No Charles Bukowski. A lot of people missing class today, huh? Got some new faces. Pistol Pete, you're new, huh?
He said Sunshine Junior will be here when we just said so.
Yes, Junior will be being a guest speaker, not this Friday, but next Friday for a special sex ed
What entertainment? But tell
class.
Liberty know how many Max can play at once.
Okay, almost done with the roll here.
Mr. G be taking his class off his class. Class C.
Possibly.
Right here, Class C.
Glass C is here. Welcome. Welcome, Glass C. Aloha. Thank you for buying my book, too. I remember that. The Loser Zero. Or as we call him, Zero, for short. Is Zero here? He hasn't been for a while. He's a big fan of JR, so, you know, like Cletus. GoPro Creations. Also hasn't been here for a while. OT.
What entertainment? Where is Lucetta?
OT. Great taste in music, OT.
What entertainment? 10 people are
But she's not here. Jean-Philippe Leblanc from Paris. Jean-Philippe Leblanc? Have not seen Jean-Philippe Leblanc in a while. Okay, then we have some new students. I'll go over them really quickly here. Thank you for your subscriptions. Mary Cookmore, Super 21, Blooper, Tommy Road, Little Lemon, So Vane 329, Seamus Davis, Rami, Russ Anderson, Smoking Loud, Rohan 77, Luras 3003, 10 is not my lucky number, Ruthless JJ, and Joab Patista. Thank you guys for registering for the Mr. G course by subscribing to my channel. That's all you do to register. You just boom. And if you guys aren't on the official roll, send me a DM after class or in my Discord on Twitter, and or see me in office hours, and I'll make sure to add you to the roll so you can get credit for being here. Maybe Mrs. J can go ahead and put the Discord link in the chats for the people that are not on the roll that would like to be added to the roll. Okay, class. Today we are learning about this guy. Who can tell me who this is? Anyone? This is Karl Marx, right? Karl Marx wrote a book called The Communist Manifesto. And a lot of people now, today in particular, you know, if you follow the news, we follow politics even just a little bit, you've probably been hearing a lot about Marxism lately. And then Marxism comes from Karl Marx, which is this guy right here, Karl Marx. And Karl Marx is associated with communism. Sometimes people mistakenly say he invented communism. The motherfucker didn't invent communism. Pardon my language, okay? No, he didn't invent communism, but he did write the Communist Manifesto. So Karl Marx here is not the father of communism per se. However, Lenin, Stalin, Powell, whatever the guy's name is, every other famous conqueror, dictator, they used his blueprints from the Communist Manifesto. And who are some more of them? Che Guevara. No, Che didn't invent communism, but Che Guevara also was a Marxist. Who else? Pol Pot, Lenin, Stalin, Mao in China, and more recently Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. So these were all Marxists, and they all came way after Marx, Karl Marx. Karl Marx, the individual, was born in 1818. His ideas and his philosophies, because he was a philosopher. What Karl Marx was, he wasn't a politician. He was a writer. He wrote the Communist Manifesto. He was born in 1818, and he had all these political ideas which he thought were great. Okay, his ideas didn't get implemented until the next century. He wasn't a famous person. He died relatively unknown. He didn't become famous until after he was already dead. And that had to do... I know I'm talking with a little bit of an accent, but it just makes the class funner for me. Okay, anyways. So, Karl Marx, he was alive in the 1800s, okay? His book, The Communist Manifesto, was a great influence for Russians, Lenin and Stalin. His ideas, exactly. Lenin came into power in 1917, 101 years after Karl Marx was born. So Karl Marx had been long gone, but Lenin read the Communist Manifesto and was greatly moved by it. Millions of people died, tens of millions, more than the Holocaust, because of this man, Karl Marx, and his idea of Marxism. Well, that's a little harsh. It wasn't really his fault. Like, he came up with some ideas about communism, and Mao, and Stalin, and Lenin, they implemented their practices. Hey, Lennon, sorry, Cody, I called you Lennon. Welcome, Cody, to class today. So, he wrote the Communist Manifesto. He was a philosopher. He lived a life of privilege. He was born into privilege, and he died in privilege. The majority of Karl Marx's life was spent in the public library in England. No joke. He spent just about every day reading and writing and doing research for his ideas about communism. And I don't know. I'd say he's pretty much overrated. I don't know why he's so popular, really. But this is a a little chart here. So I'm gonna erase part of the board. So we have communism, Marxism, and socialism. Is there a difference? Tell me. What do you guys think? You can say that. Alright, so there's three things that we're going over. Look at this lovely magnet. It's one of my favorite students got me. It says, one day we're speeding through the world, we're speeding through life without a care in the world. And the next day, we have white hair and whiskers. That reminds me, class, tomorrow is Mr. G's birthday, my 41st birthday. So there's no school. No, well, we will have class tomorrow on my birthday.
What entertainment? Anyone want a piece of gum?
No gum chewing, please, boy. Okay, so we have three things. We have communism,
28,804, and unlimited. Mrs. J, the married candy.
socialism. You can eat candy all class tomorrow, but not today. Tomorrow's your teacher's birthday. Maybe somebody will bring me an apple. Move this light down for now. So we have socialism, we have communism, socialism, and Marxism. Thank you, Dave. Communism, socialism, and Marxism. Who can tell me the difference? Well,
Mr. Nicotino, happy early birthday.
thank you, Nicotino. Thank you. Well, a communist, all communists are socialists, but not all socialists are communists. Some socialists are Marxists, and not all Marxists are necessarily communist. Okay, here's a graph. We can look at right here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. So if you look here on the top, on the left side we have socialism. On the right side we have capitalism. They couldn't be more opposite, okay? So capitalism is not socialism. But if you look under socialism, there's a few different categories. There's communism, there's anarchism, and there's orthodox Marxism, there's democratic socialism, and there's revolutionary Marxism. Right? So that's a lot of different categories. So, I can tell you a lot of people call themselves socialists.
Currently, 8,804. McCarthyism.
Bernie Sanders. I'm assuming everybody in the chat knows who Bernie Sanders is. Well, Bernie Sanders, he calls himself a democratic
Marx
socialist.
entertainment. Better Marx, Joe Mermaid, Candy, Pigeon, and Eyes. Lisa, Sunshine, Antifa.
So Bernie Sanders calls himself a socialist. But you know who also calls themselves a socialist? Nazis.
Yes.
Nazis consider themselves socialists.
Mr.G, the Mermaid, for quiet entertainment, comes up like...
You know who else considers themselves socialists? Cuba. You know who else considers themselves socialists?
Tech 1, value girls.
Sweden. So, don't forget the Nazis. They're socialists too.
Lisa L, president.
Alright, so, I don't need to tell you the point I'm trying to make here. There's a pretty big difference between Bernie Sanders, Democratic Socialists, Cuba, Sweden, and Nazi Germany. Am I right or am I right?
Mr. Nicotino, I am once again asking for your financial support.
I mean, Bernie Sanders is Jewish. There couldn't be more different. Okay. So, Bernie Sanders is the most well-known socialist. He almost became president, right? Democratic socialist is what he calls himself. A democratic socialist is something like Sweden. And Nazi Germany, they call themselves socialists, but I mean, I don't even really like having that on board. So, I'm going to read a little bit about socialism, right? And then when I'm done with that, we're going to listen to what Bernie Sanders explains socialism as. However, let's look at this diagram really quickly here. This is pretty funny. Well, so let me explain it again. Marxism is a theory, and communism is the practical implementation of Marxism. So Marxism is just a theory. Marxism is just a theory, and communism is implementing Marxism. So right now in socialist China, we could also add China to this list because they don't call themselves communist. Or I guess they do, but they call themselves socialists. Maybe. So Marxism is a theory. Communism is implementing Marxism. So communism is the implementation of Marxism. Socialism has a broad umbrella. Socialism is an umbrella term, and it can include communism, Marxism, and also anarchism. Believe it or not. I have a little diagram. It's comical. You don't want to take this too serious here. Here, I'll put it on the board and we'll look at it better. Right here. Okay, class. So if you see up here at the top left, socialism versus capitalism, they couldn't be more opposites, could they? Granted, like I said, you want to take this with a grain of salt. But with socialism, the power is read in the people, and they control the money, the banks, and everything else. Capitalism, the business controls the people. Communism, feudalism, anarcho-capitalism. That's an interesting one. Theocracy. This is the first time I've seen this, guys. Fascism. So a lot of the, anti-Trump people, they say they're Antifa, anti-fascists. So they're saying they're anti-fascists. So you see fascism, power to the people. You see socialism has the three people, holding the banks hostage. And the opposite would be capitalism. But down here, fascism. So what's the difference between capitalism and fascism? Well, fascism seems to have 3 top hats and 1 blue in chain, and 1 blue. Up here we have 3 blues and chains. So they represent capitalism. You're like, the people are right here in blue, and they're in chains, right? Imperialism. So that's one guy on top in the whole world. This is a pretty interesting diagram. I'm going to upload this on Discord. So this is where we're all heading. There's going to be a one world government, and one person is going to be in charge of everybody, in my opinion. But this is a really good diagram. I'll post this on my Discord for later. Okay, class, now I will be doing a little bit of reading. I'm going to read for about 5 minutes about the basics of communism and socialism, on what it means to be, what kind of rights you have, and what it exactly means.
This is Jane, the mermaid present time. Join Mr.G's Discord, https://discord.gg/JJMW5.
Thank you, Mrs. J. You're a wonderful teaching assistant. You deserve a raise. Okay, class. This is the point. This is the point of the lecture where I read for a minute about socialism. So, fundamental and inalienable rights, freedom of speech. I will add the autopilot for this segment. Okay, freedom of speech. The right to express your views without fear of serious repercussions, such as imprisonment or death penalty, is a fundamental and inalienable right for all people. This right should not, however, be used as an excuse to threaten, harass, or otherwise infringe upon the lawful freedoms and rights of other people. Hate speech is not free speech. The right to religious practice. While Marxism is philosophically materialistic worldview, and thus discards religion as unscientific, there is no doubt that religious practice is a fundamental and inalienable right for all people. Houses of worship, be they churches, temples, mosques, or otherwise, should be available to all those who desire them. Okay, before I go on, what I'm reading here, guys, this is written by a socialist. This is written by the socialist communist platform. So if you go to Prager University, or if you heard Fox News talk about socialism, they wouldn't paint it in this positive of a light. The majority of times that I've heard about Marxism or socialism or communism, like North Korea or somewhere like that, they don't like religion. Religion is faux pas. You don't have religion in communist countries. You don't. It's all about the state, and the state has all the power.
Okay, thanks, Mr. J, for being so nice.
Okay, the right to vote and to be elected. Socialism is fundamentally democratic ideology. The word
Mr. J, the valet parked at Peter outside his smiling face.
The word democracy comes from Greek, demos, meaning people, and kratia, meaning power, literally rule by the people. Capitalism, while a progressive step away from feudalism, is inherently undemocratic. Remind you, this was written by a socialist. The economy, which determines all manner of all things ranging from the quality and availability of healthcare and education to if we sleep with a roof over our heads or not on the street, is not controlled by the people. Capitalism puts the rich in charge of running the economy and thus in charge of our lives. Socialism puts the people in charge of the economy by making the economy democratically controlled. The manner in which this is done varies from tendency to tendency, but the principle is the same. The economy is too important to place in the hands of only a small fraction of the population. That's kind of what's happening now. The majority of the American economy is in the hands of a small fraction of the population. The small percentage of Americans that own stock in real estate are doing very well right now, but the majority of Americans are not doing well, Okay, socialism puts the people in charge of the economy by making the economy democratically controlled. The manner of which this is done varies from tendency to tendency, but the principle is the same. The economy is too important to place in the hands of only a small fraction of the population. Democracy under capitalism, capital D, simply chooses between two parties, neither of which you particularly agree with, and placing a ballot in every box every 4 years, hoping that your vote won't be one of the 3 million which are ignored, only to later down the line to find out the politician you voted for sold you out to the Philip Morris Tobacco Corporation, which donated $1.6 million to their campaign fund. So one big news story worldwide right now, I saw this on BBC London, is the United States is being laughed at because our economy and our people are starving, and there's riots on our streets and people are upset, and the stock market is doing surprisingly well, and big business is doing well. All right, after the pandemic, you can say what you want about the pandemic, but every major country, every first world country said, hey, you guys stay home and we'll send you some money. We'll send you $1,000 a month, or Canada's like $2,000 a month. Actually, that's a low estimate. I was just saying that because, most of you are Americans. So if I said yeah, everybody in Europe got $2,000 a month, you'd be like, no way, that's not possible. But yeah, that's how it works over there. Because in America, in the United States, it's different. There's such inequality here, and the governments, they're paid for by big business, by lobbyists. So they don't give a fuck about the people. The airline companies and the hotel, they already got a bunch of their money. It didn't take long to get stimulus to them. It didn't take long to get stimulus to banks, did it? No. But the people, since in the last 6 months, the United States people received $1,200. That's it from the United States government. So it's a travesty. And I'm not saying left or right on the issue here. This is a universal issue, and they know it's the case. And the special interests, there's special interests on the right and there's special interests on the left. So I don't know. You can't. We only have two choices, right? So if Nancy Pelosi pisses you off, what are you going to vote for Donald Trump? What if Donald Trump pisses you off? You're going to vote for the left? What if they both piss you off? There's nobody to vote for, and we're all left to survive on our own. And that's the United States. So once again, I'm continuing with this communist propaganda that I'm reading, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. That's what this is. I'm reading you communist propaganda right now. The right to education. Education, being the system which is supposed to help turn someone into a productive, reasonable adult member of society, should be of the highest quality, changing and adapting to the latest discoveries in social science, and available with any charge to all who seek it, from preschool to university,
In the long term, quality education. I cut my tongue when I was sleeping, so it's hard to read right now or talk.
Mr. Liberty, make sure you write.
Quality education improves our society in every measurable way. This is why education is a fundamental and inalienable right. So I agree with that. I think there should be free education. California and New York are already implementing free education procedures, and there is some history of success in making education available to the citizens, just like healthcare, which is the next topic. And before we even start what they say about healthcare, you know, Cuba has one of the top-ranked healthcare systems in the world. And you know why? Because they're a communist country. If you get sick in Cuba, it doesn't matter if you don't have a penny to your name. Everybody gets free healthcare, and everybody gets some of the top quality healthcare in the world. And that says a lot from the United States, which has some of the worst healthcare in the world. No joke, one of the worst of any major first world countries. The United States is like at the very bottom of healthcare. Cuba has a much better healthcare system, much better doctors, much better nurses, much better hospitals than the United States. And I'm not going to lie and say otherwise. If you meet a Cuban doctor, keep that doctor. There's a lot of Cuban doctors, by the way. There's a lot of Cuban athletes, too. Cuba is also extremely successful in sports. Health and sports go together a lot of times, so maybe that has to do with it. But let's see what it says here about healthcare. There is no right more fundamental than the right to life itself. All people,
I assume we're talking about higher education.
irrespective of race or nationality, religion, education, or residential qualifications, social origin, property status, past activities, or wealth, have the right to be treated by medical personnel and be given proper medication when they are physically or mentally sick or injured. All medical procedures which are required for a person to live a comfortable life without physical pain or mental anguish should be available free of charge to all who seek it. Healthcare, both mental and physical, is a fundamental and inalienable right. So recently, I did a little research on communism and Marxism today, and I was pretty staunch on, after the riots and the liberal media, I was like, fuck, I'm voting Trump, or I was thinking about it. But now after I look into socialism, I should say, not necessarily Marxism, but I do believe that everybody, I don't know if you can say that, Nico, but overall, I do believe that everybody has a right to education and everybody has a right to health care. There's a bunch of empty apartments in New York City, and there's a bunch of people sleeping on the streets. Same with California. There's a bunch of tents on the street, and there's a bunch of empty apartments. What the heck, dude? Are we that uncivilized? I believe alien spacefaring civilizations are kinder and more humane to their people, for lack of a better word, humane. Yes, I believe aliens don't have homelessness. I believe aliens don't have countries. I believe aliens don't have wars with each other. I believe aliens aren't at the risk of blowing up themselves and their entire existence and any notion that they ever existed to begin with. I don't believe aliens are like that. I believe humans are, not aliens.
What's it have to do with voting for Biden?
Well, if I was an alien, I would vote for Biden. I'm just kidding. You're right. What does aliens have to do with voting for Biden? Well, I think aliens are communists. I think aliens are at least socialist. And I don't think there's any homeless aliens. I don't think I think every alien on their planet has free health care. I think every alien on their planet has the right to free education. It's an alien right. And don't let any human take that away from you. I liked Bernie Sanders, as some of you guys know. I was a fan of Bernie Sanders. A lot of times I don't vote. I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. Sometimes I vote on the left, sometimes I vote on the right. It's always important just to vote. But I make it more of a popularity contest, right? Like, Bernie Sanders seemed like an honest guy. I don't agree with all of his policies, especially now I am pro Second Amendment, that I own guns, or that I plan to. But I don't.
Quite nearly okay. Sounds like quality talk.
Go ahead and time out that person whoever said that. But
Some homeless don't want to live in a hotel.
you're right, because they have to follow rules and stuff. A majority of homeless, but you can't blame them. You know, like what? You know, well, I guess if they had their own hotel room, they would probably choose that over the street. But, I mean, like I like Bernie Sanders. I'll always agree that, like, if there's children starving right now, it's somewhere in the world. There's little kids that are hungry. And then there's restaurants throwing away food and grocery stores throwing away food. That doesn't make any sense. That's not logical. That's inhumane. That's evil. That's wrong. If there's humans that are starving, I say kids to try to like
Mrs. J, the mermaid Paul Price.
pull the empathy strings, you know? Like there's kids dying of starvation and there's billionaires that like order a bunch of plate of food and take a bite and throw it out, you know? Like it's not fair, and I guess you can call me a communist or a socialist if that's what that is. I think everybody should have the right to have somewhere to live. I think everybody should have the right to safety. I think everyone should have the right to education. I think everyone should have the right to healthcare. However, this isn't about Mr. G's opinions. All right, so we're going to continue reading here. The right to food and water. The world collectively produces enough food to feed all of humanity. In fact, the world produces more than enough food. And yet the number of people undernourished in the world has been on the rise since 2014, reaching an estimated 815 million in 2016. That's like 1 out of 7 people, guys. UN Food and Agricultural Organization 2017. Rich countries not only have problems with obesity, but also throwing away metric tons of food waste every day. We were just talking about this.
Hey, Mr. G, I heard you were going to teach some handwriting classes.
Private corporations have deemed that food which cannot be sold, milk that is a day out of date, tomatoes which are not red or shiny enough, bananas which aren't crooked enough, to be thrown in dumpsters, and bleach is to be poured on top so that the hungry and homeless don't eat it. That's absurd. To not only deny food to the hungry when you have plenty, but to go out of your way to ensure that the hungry won't ever eat your trash is a barbaric and inhumane practice. This is why the right to enough food and water to lead a healthy life is a fundamental and inalienable right. Okay, today's story time, I'm going to tell a quick story about when I worked at 7-Eleven and why I got fired from working at 7-Eleven in Reno, Nevada. So we're going to switch it to black and white.
That's right. I tried to help someone on seats, but that's no homeless.
Alright, so the year was 2012. It was February of 2012. And I started working for a 7-Eleven in Reno, Nevada. Now, I don't know if Reno, Nevada is like real hardcore Republican or something, but there was a lot of homeless people in Reno, Nevada. This was 2012, shortly after the housing crisis, and there were a lot of homeless people, right? So I'm working at a 7-Eleven in Reno, Nevada, and I work the shift that ends at like midnight. And so I work all day, and then at the end of the day, my job is to throw away all the donuts, and throw away all the sandwiches, and throw away all the packaged sushi, and pastries, and the packaged pastries at the end of the day. Now, I lived in Reno for 6 months, and during that time, I did go to a food bank in Reno, and it was the worst food bank I had ever been to. The food banks in Austin, Texas would give out like gourmet Gouda cheese. The food banks in Reno gave you a bag of rice and a bag of beans. That's it. And so there was a lot of hungry people in Reno, more so than anywhere. I also worked at a 7-Eleven in Austin, Texas, and sometimes we would get hungry and homeless people that would go to the dumpsters, or they would ask the 7-Eleven employees if they had any donuts they were going to throw away. And generally the management at those 7-Elevens were like, okay, yeah, you know, if you're going to throw them away anyways, just go ahead and give them, you know, the donuts or sandwiches that are going to go to the waste, okay? That was in Austin, Texas. Different story in Reno, Nevada. In Reno, Nevada, I had this mean 7-Eleven manager with a nose that went up like this, that, you know, made her look like a pig. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to her, but I mean, she wasn't a nice person at all. And her biggest thing, she didn't care if my register was exact every time. She thought that was suspicious. But I'm like, I'm good at math. I'm not going to be over and I'm not going to be under. Whatever my tail is supposed to be, it's going to be exactly right. And she's like, I've never had a cashier that has his register, his till right at the end of every shift. Something's up with that. I'm on to you, Greg, Mr.G, you know? And also she was so offended about my education. She's like, just because you think you have a college education, don't think you're smarter than me. You know, she was so wrong in every fucking way. But what she actually fired me for was, one time the cooler broke and all their ice cream rotted, like all the Ben and Jerry's. There was like 50 cases of Ben and Jerry's that all melted. And once ice cream melts, you can't refreeze it. So a few of the employees were like, fuck it, you know, we're throwing it away. Let's eat some Ben and Jerry's. She got so pissed about that, you know. She wrote up everybody for eating the ice cream that was going to go in the dumpster. But what I eventually got fired for there was giving the donuts away to homeless people. What I would do is, instead of pouring bleach on them, I wasn't going to pour bleach on them. I was going to put them in the dumpster and put the fresh ones on the side, or the sandwiches that were unopened, or the sushi that was not touched. I was going to take it and put it on the side. And then when the homeless people came in and be like, hey, it's in 2 trash bags on the side. Well, I did that and I got caught. And then so she fired me, you know, for not pouring bleach on the, and not throwing away all that food. But I couldn't do that with a good conscience.
Hey, Gonzo, she trash.
So yeah, Dave London, that was my my story. She was one of the worst managers I've ever had. Okay, so that was today's story of the day. So I'm just going to read this last part right here. It says, we are not social democrats. Many European nations practice an ideology known as social democracy. Social democracy is an ideology which supports economic and social interventions to promote social justice within the framework of a capitalist economy. So that's really important to the next step, or the next part of the lecture. I'm going to read that again.
Sorry, Mr.G, she is horrible.
Economic and social interventions to promote social justice within the framework of a capitalist economy is what is a social democrat. So social democrats are really popular in Europe. Also, Bernie Sanders considers him a social democrat. I'm going to read a couple more lines of this, and then we're going to listen to a short speech by Bernie Sanders explaining what a social democrat is. So once again, this says a social democrat: economic and social interventions to promote social justice within the framework of a capitalist economy. So a social democrat implements like free healthcare or free education within the framework of a capitalist economy. And thus, it is a capitalist ideology, not a socialistic ideology. Socialism, by definition, opposes capitalism and seeks to dismantle the capitalist system. While social democratic nations do well in some regard, they are only able to offer things like social security to their citizens due to the availability of cheap offshore labor in the third world and by high taxes on the working class. So, cheap offshore labor in the third world. So LeBron James has a lot to talk about politics, but his shoes cost $150, and the people that make LeBron James shoes are in China making like $1 an hour, if that. Yeah, making like $10 a week and dying of starvation. And those are the ones making LeBron James shoes. So, the cheap offshore labor by high taxes on the working class. We socialists oppose outsourcing jobs to third world nations, and we oppose taxes on the general population. We believe in common ownership of enterprise, the productivity of which will be used to benefit all of society and not just CEOs. Taxes and redistribution only attack the symptoms of inequality, not the cause. We are not social democrats. We are not Democrats. We are not Bernie Sanders. So, with that being said, I'm going to play a short speech of what Bernie Sanders says a social democrat is. And I hope you guys are enjoying the lecture. Once again, tomorrow is my birthday, so I really invite you guys to come tomorrow. We're going to do a special Carl Sagan lecture tomorrow, and then we are going to bake Rice Krispie treats with Lucky Charms marshmallows and Lucky Charms. Okay, so this is Bernie Sanders. I'm going to go get my daily glass of water. Class, you're being a wonderful class. Everyone take a listen to Bernie Sanders' short 2-minute speech.
Are serious about rebuilding the American middle class. If we are serious about reinvigorating American democracy, we need to develop a political movement which once again is prepared to take on and defeat a ruling class whose greed is destroying our nation. So let me take this opportunity to define for you, simply and straightforwardly, what democratic socialism means to me. It means building on what Franklin Delano Roosevelt said when he fought for guaranteed economic rights for all Americans. And it builds on what Martin Luther King Jr. said in 1968 when he stated, and I quote, "This country has socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor," end of quote. My view of democratic socialism builds on the success of many other countries around the world who have done a far better job than we have in protecting the needs of their working families, their elderly citizens, their children, their sick, and their poor. Democratic socialism means that we must reform
Yes, he did endorse
a
Biden.
political system which is corrupt, that we must create an economy that works for all, not just the very wealthy.
All right, so that's Bernie Sanders and what he thought. Yeah, he is. He's very rich. I hope you guys understand the difference between communism, socialism, and Marxism. Marxism is basically a system of analysis and a way to view the world. Communism is the implementation of Marxism. Communism is a political movement, a form of government, and a condition of society. That's not Marxism. And socialism is a broad term, which covers Marxism, communism, anarchism, and yeah. And then you had democratic socialists, which is what Bernie Sanders is, which believes in health care for the people, education for the people, and more taxes on the rich. No need to beat around the bush. So part of me, personally, I actually can understand that as well. Now, that's socialism, and that's not communism. It's not the same thing. Communism, it's more from each person's ability relative to each person's need. And overall, straight up communism has not been successful. There's a few countries like Sweden and Europe that have been successful with socialism. But if you look at the failed communist states, North Korea, communist Russia, China. China, they hold Karl Marx dear. They're building a huge statue in China of Karl Marx right now. And he holds a lot more clout there than any other Caucasian, yes. But yeah, do we have any questions? Once again, however, Karl Marx, he talked a lot about the working class and this and that, but he did live a life of privilege, and he died not seeing his ideas come to fruition either. He was a philosopher. He spent his time in the library, and I don't know why really his ideas have gained so much steam. You know, I guess it was Lenin in Russia, and then and then China, Mao in China, and those are the two people that really promoted Karl Marx's ideas. So, another thing.
He said Sunshine. Was he from the UK? Where was he born?
He was born in Germany. Easy Funshine? No, he wasn't from the UK. He was born in a communist part of Germany, and he spent a lot of time traveling around Europe and living in different parts of Europe. So yeah, he lived in Germany, and he also
Mr.G, American's teacher.
he went to school in France. Right here.
Mrs. J, the mermaid, thanks Mr. G for explaining these political theories.
And then he ended up spending most of his time in England, which is right there. Okay. You're welcome. I enjoy explaining it. I enjoy teaching. Once again, class is at 3 p.m. every day, Hawaii Standard Time. So, another point of communism. So, socialism is not communism. Communism is very dangerous, and it puts all the control into the power of the people. I mean, into the power of the state, I should say. Socialism, it's free healthcare. A democratic socialist, wants free healthcare and free education. Communism, one thing, there's no land ownership in communism.
Hey Vegas, thank you teacher.
You're welcome, Vegas. Vegas always.
Super_Roofer super chatted $5. Here's capitalism for you, Mr. G. Take my $5.
Thank you, Super Roofer. It's my first donation in 2 days. I appreciate that, Super Roofer. Super Roofer with the $5 donation.
We are at KTH 3 CYCLE, New Berlin 2024.
However, if you enjoy doing something, you'd be willing to do it for free. Thank you, Mrs. J, for the party poppers. But I don't do this for the money. I enjoy doing this. I paid to do this. Like, this map wasn't cheap, And the chalkboard and everything. I do this, and I get these stuff because I enjoy doing it. But the same way with feeding cats. I feed the cats not because I'm getting something out of it, because I enjoy doing it. But I do have, expenses, so any little bit helps, especially in the future. Like I said, my birthday's tomorrow. So. But anyways, you don't have to give me anything. Nobody has to even show up, okay? It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. I don't know why I said that. All right, anyways, I wanted to touch on one more thing about communism. Communism, there's no land ownership in communism. The state owns all the land, and there's no inheritance.
Yes, capitalism.
So if you want to pass on your wedding ring to your daughter, then you don't get that. The wedding ring belongs to the state. There's no inheritance. With communism, there's no inheritance. There's no land ownership. So, communism can be a very dangerous. And it hasn't been successful. Thanks, Nico.
Mr. G, we love you.
Hey, break the cycle. Aloha. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Dave London. I love you guys too. I love teaching, and I love doing this every day. The fun part about this is we're not going to get tired of this, because every day is a new subject. Tomorrow is Science Thursdays. Friday is Health Friday. Sex Ed, we'll have a guest speaker with JR next Friday. And then, Mondays.
Sounds like a John Lennon song.
Mondays is Politics Monday. Tuesdays is History. So every day we have something really fun and interesting. Monday through Friday, every day. And I really enjoy doing it. Okay, I will, Lisa.
He said, Sunshine. Thank you, Mr. G. I learned a lot today.
You're welcome, Easy Funshine. So, let's check out the map real quick. we can write on this map.
Mr. Nicotino, in more informed about Karl Marx and Marxism now. CYCLE, Boss's right up Mr. G. Good shit, now.
Thanks, guys. We've got a few more minutes of class time left. So with that, we're gonna just mess around with the map here a little bit.
Super underscore Ripper, why won't you have Junior for sex ed day? HES never have sex.
He'll be a guest speaker for a health class, so it's up to him if he wants to talk about sex education or whatever, but he's going to be the guest speaker for next Friday's health class. So I encourage you, all of you, to make sure to be on class on time on that.
I know HES, funny.
So I'm right here, or I'm from here. So I'm going to
Mr. Nicotino, joy tears of joy.
So I'm from here in Austin, San Antonio, and then I finally left Texas. I went here. To northern New Mexico, and then from there I went through the top of Arizona to Las Vegas. And then on January 1st, 2012, I drove from Las Vegas to Reno. And then from Reno, that's when I met up with my twin brother, because tomorrow's my twin brother's birthday too. So we went to Berkeley for some weird reason. So we drove from Reno to Berkeley. And then from there, we went north. It was too ghetto, to Humboldt County to Eureka, along the 101. And then that was too small town. Michael didn't like that much, so we drove all the way to Portland after that. And then after that, we moved to Vancouver, Washington, right on the other side of the Columbia River. And then after that, I went to Seattle. And then I met some Hawaiians in Seattle, and they thought I would... Yeah, I used to live in Berkeley. Yeah. So I lived in Seattle over near Nico, Lake City.
Big block chipped $2. Happy birthday, Mr. G, and I won't miss your CL tomorrow.
Thank you, Big Block. Aloha. My birthday would suck without you guys. Who am I kidding? You guys are making my birthday good tomorrow. So I was in Seattle and Lake City over near Nico, and then I met some nice Hawaiians. And then I found a farm in Hawaii all the way out here to work on. So I flew from Seattle to Oahu. And then I've been here for almost 10 years now. And I only went back once to LA, which was a bad idea. And then I flew right back. Thank you, Big Block. Thank you, Mrs. J. So I apologize about the glare. We'll have to fix that eventually. So I'm from Austin, and I hardly ever have left Texas. I once went to New Orleans when I was a kid. Our father drove me and my brother to a mall in New Orleans. We'd never been there before, and then left us there. He left us at a mall in New Orleans when we were like 10 years old. They were I guess he was trying to see if somebody would kidnap us or something. Like, he didn't love us. But yeah, that was the furthest east that I've been. I've never been east of the Mississippi River. And the only time I went to New Orleans, like I said, when I was a little kid, our father dropped me and my brother off at a mall there. He came and picked us up like a day later. But still, I think about that now, I'm like, damn, he was fucking evil. But yeah. So when I finally graduated from UT Austin, I found a farm in northern New Mexico near Santa Fe. So I drove from Austin to Santa Fe, and I got pulled over twice, like in Lubbock and area, and because I tried driving the back roads, like in Lubbock and Abilene, and the cops pulled me over, and I didn't even have a driver's license. I had a bunch of weed and stuff, but they let me go even though I didn't have a license or insurance. And then I made it to the farm in New Mexico. Then I worked there. I was the manager of the farm for like a few months. But then that was when Occupy movement started, and so I joined up with the Santa Fe Occupy movement. It's kind of like Antifa now or whatever, but I didn't like them because they were all like spoiled rich kids talking about inequality and shit. It was a mix between homeless people and spoiled rich kids in the Santa Fe Occupy camp. So I eventually left Santa Fe around Christmas. It just got so cold, and I drove to Las Vegas because I intended to make it as a sports gambler. So I got to Las Vegas a few days before Christmas 2011. And the worst Christmas of my life was that Christmas. That Christmas day, I lost all my money, and I ended up sitting in a casino in Las Vegas, and it was so sad, and I was so hungry, and I was so alone, and I had nowhere to go, and my car didn't have gas. But then, and I hated Las Vegas so bad. It's the worst city in my opinion. No offense, Vegas, no offense. But Reno I actually kind of liked, and Reno had a farm to work on. So remind you, I worked on a farm in Santa Fe, and then I found another farm to work on for room and board in Reno. So I just had to make it to Las Vegas to Reno. So So on New Year's Eve, I got a job in Las Vegas. I went to all the pizzas. I went to a mom and pop pizza shop, knowing from my experience in Texas that mom and pop pizza shops, they need people to put flyers on doors on New Year's Eve. So what I did was I went to a pizza shop, and I gave it my best, and I walked in with confidence, and I said, hey, I need money, I need a job, I do flyers, I'm going to be the best flyer worker, I'll work my ass off, give me an opportunity to do flyers for your pizza business on New Year's Eve. And then so they gave me the opportunity, so I spent New Year's Eve putting pizza flyers on all the major hotels' doors. Circus, Caesar's Palace, New York, the Mirage. There's nothing like Vegas on New Year's Eve. I've spent 2 New Year's Eves in Las Vegas, one from 98 to 99, and one 2011 to 2012. So I was in Vegas on New Year's Eve from 98 to 99, and then how many years later? 13 years later, I'm in Vegas again, right? So I spend that. This is the contents of my second book, guys. That's why it's all fresh on my head. This is everything that happens in my second book. This journey right here, this is my second book. It starts in Texas, in Austin, Texas, when I graduated from UT Austin. And then that's the first chapter. The second chapter is in northern New Mexico in Santa Fe, when I worked on the farm there. And then I joined the Occupy movement. That's the third chapter. The fourth chapter is going to Las Vegas and trying to be a sport gambler. The fifth chapter is called 6 Months in Reno. The sixth chapter is Berkeley, California. The seventh chapter is Eureka, Humboldt County, California. The eighth chapter is Portland, Oregon. The ninth chapter is Seattle, Washington. And then the book ends with me flying to Hawaii. And then the third book starts there. So, Hawaii's not even in my second. But yeah, like I said. No, Seamus Davis. I don't read racist things like that. But I ordered this map here. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? The camera's in the wrong spot. I ordered this map here. Oops. Because this is the same exact kind of map I had when I worked at a private school in Honolulu. This map is a really good quality map. You can write on it, you can erase with it. And it's the same kind of map that I had when I worked worked at a private school where I was paid $50 an hour. So, you guys are getting a pretty good deal here. Okay, sometimes...
I can't wait for your second book. Your first book was really good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Easy Sunshine. I appreciate that. You're more than welcome to write a review on Walmart.com or Amazon.com. Maybe Mrs. J or a moderator could put the link in the chat. Any of those reviews really help out book sales. That's the most important thing to a self-published writer are the reviews on Walmart.com and Amazon.com. Those make or break a self-published book. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the map. Like I said, it's erasable, so that's good, huh? And this will have more interaction if you guys want to share.
The first book was very good.
Thank you.
Mrs. J, the mermaid, check out Mr. G's book on Amazon, https://smile.amazon.com/gonzo-education.
So, I encourage...
I wrote a review.
Oh, thank you, Rusty. I encourage if any of viewers here, any of you members of the class here, any students, any students that would like, if you're watching from far away, if you're watching from Europe, if you're watching from Canada, and you don't mind saying where your location is, I really love geography and I love maps. You never knew Russia was so close to the United States, right? And look how big Brazil is. Like, you could fit 10 African countries in Brazil. Look how close Argentina is to the South Africa. Yeah, it is a very nice touch. So tomorrow is Science Thursdays. It's also my birthday, 9/24. Tomorrow we're going to be going over a brief lecture with Carl Sagan, and then it's going to be a fun day.
We are at KTH 3CYCO in New York.
Tomorrow's my 30th birthday.
Mr. G educates us about platter. 3 elements. You can send Mr. G or his cats letters and packages. PO Box 37,305 Honolulu, Hawaii, 96837. Big Rock, or Amazon.com, https://www.amazon.com/gonzo-education.
So tomorrow,
I went to Brazil and it's huge. Seamus, happy Karl Sagan birthday cake.
hey Seamus, welcome. Tomorrow is
We are at KTH 3CYCO 41 if I remember correctly.
Mr. G's birthday. I was born on Monday, September 24th, 1979 at 1:09
Seamus says tomorrow is a red letter day.
p.m.
Mr. G, I'm trying to Superchat, but you missed one, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I appreciate the thought that counts.
Have a happy birthday,
So maybe tomorrow I'll start the stream at 1:09 because that's what time I was born. Or I'll just start at 3.
Mrs. J, the mermaid birthday cake.
We're going to make Lucky Charms Rice Krispie treats. There are a lot of cakes in Hawaii. I'm just kidding. Not out of cakes.
Hey, London, let's make a birthday cake. Seamus says, what was this guy? It's boring or life.
So I was born 9/24 1979.
Seamus says, where were you on 9/11? Big Rock, so young Mr. G Hart.
I was at my downtown San Antonio apartment. It was a hangout apartment, so all my friends came over on 9/11. Well, like 4 or 5 people, and we all hung out watching the news. I was working 48 hours a week at that time.
the telemarketing office, where I was the top salesperson of the telemarketing office. And I hadn't missed a day of work in over a year and a half. So 9/11, that was the first day of work that I missed. I was 20 years old too, by the way. Or I was about to be 21. Anyways, 9/24/79. That's the day I was born.
Your box card. Super underscore with that. My brother was in Vietnam. Shameless.
At 1:09.
3 members. Thumbs up donates to Mr. G with text to speech. Thumbs up page https://3.com/9//tip.
And my twin brother was born 2 minutes after I was. He was born at 1:11.
BR KTH3 CYCLE. Reject KTH3
Yeah.
sample lost is being wrenched down. Another sample where was I haven't been around. Tell me Link, I was 21. Seamus Davis, super who what you do.
You got your wrench back. Break the cycle. You're a real one. I didn't even go through the board either. That was an executive decision I gave. Break the cycle, their mod.
I got my favorite class now. So,
Break the cycle. I remember you were there when I was on the streets of LA in the Skid Row. The one time I left Hawaii and flew to California, I remember you were there that morning. Break the cycle. You were there when I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck did I leave Hawaii for? I'm like, this smells like urine. I'm never coming back to California. Alright, guys.
Seamus Davis, I was in the ship, man in the ship, with fucking nothing money, and my friend dying in the ship for nothing man, fucking nothing man.
Seamus Davis, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Gene.
I'm still trying to unban your Zach Morris account, Seamus. It was a fun stream today. I hope you guys learned the difference between socialism, communism, and Marxism. Everybody, I'll see you all tomorrow. Once again, whose birthday is it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This is all I got, guys. This is all I got, okay? This is my birthday. No, I'm just fucking around. No, I'm not upset. I'm happy where I'm at in life. I'm getting things done. I'm finishing my second book. I'm teaching every day. I'm learning every day. I'm productive every day. I'm eating healthy. I'm talking to good people, good friends, good viewers, good people in the chat. It feels right. It feels good. It feels positive. Thank you all for being here today. I hope to see you tomorrow on my birthday. Everybody, have a good night. For Peach, Keanu, and Moses, we all say goodbye. And once again, Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Aloha.